Bursting the Chinese spy balloon. Welcome to Mark and Pete. Here's a thought.
A spy is like a fly with eyes that spies, and lurks and leaps and always lies. They flit and float in disguise, deep in lows and often highs. To pry on the sly could be worldly wise, when criminal action is on the rise. If you spy a spy, as one often tries, catch the spy before he flies. Yes, espionage is something that we are seeing now unfold. Well,
Yes.
In recent times, the US has shot down a suspected Chinese spy balloon that flew across America. Now, Joe Biden was under intense pressure to shoot it down on immediate identification, but there was a bit of a delay. Eventually, the pressure got to him. And yes, he got out his little pea shooter and shot it down. Well,
Yes.
Clergyman Pete, I ask you, what was China thinking about sending this balloon? And should we just accept that espionage is part of international relations?
Well, I don't know what China was thinking in sending the balloon. It seems very weird, although there is another balloon, I understand, still at the point of recording this, flying over South America. So it could well be that there are quite a few of them. It happens to have been spotted on this occasion, and they've been up in the air there doing their spying. It could also be that this is like a PR exercise for the Americans choosing to spot this one,
Yes.
or maybe they put it up there in the first place. Who knows? I don't know. Yes, bit of a conspiracy theory there, but I don't know. That's the point. Do we know? Certainly it seems to be being used to whip up fervor against the Chinese. But in terms of why the Chinese would want to do it, well, I mean, there are certain things you could be spying on, perhaps development of certain industries, perhaps movement of troops. I don't know what it might be, but depending on where it was actually flying over, what equipment was on it, all of which we know with greater or lesser precision. What was actually on it, we don't know at all. And in interviews about it, the military spokesman for the US refused to say what was on it. So
Yes.
Maybe that's another PR stunt, or maybe that it's actually so sensitive that he couldn't say, or maybe he just didn't know. But what I would say is that espionage, spying on other countries, although it's sort of underhand and cheating, it's the way things are done, isn't it?
Allegedly. Now, according to the US officials, the alleged Chinese balloon floated over Alaska and Canada before appearing over the US state of Montana, which is the home to a number of sensitive nuclear missile sites.
That's the bit I was missing. Yeah.
Yes, that's the bit you're missing. But however, it should be said that while the Pentagon said that the balloon had been traveling at an altitude well above commercial air traffic and did not present a military or physical threat to the people on the ground, its presence had sparked outrage. So even though that it was seen as a meteorological research balloon that had gone astray, according to some Chinese spokespeople, was this really actually just a ruse that actually really there was something going on elsewhere? I mean, is it really China? Could it have been Russian? Who knows? But I think let's get to the bigger story here. It's evident that whilst a balloon is one form of surveillance, there are many other forms. Yes, technology is interesting, isn't it, Clergyman Pete? Because we know that technology such as applications that might appear on your phone or your tablet, your computer, they can be hacked or they can be tracked. And that's the other thing as well, because should we be more concerned with the world that we're in, which is so reliant on technology?
Yes, I was thinking about weather balloon. Well, whether it's a weather balloon or whether it's an espionage device, you can go up or down to see more espionage going on. The satellites further up, and down on the Earth, there's of course computer apps, phone apps that are able to spy on what you are doing. And I think there are greater concerns than a weather balloon. Let's put it that way. And I think that there are things that you can do to ameliorate that, which doesn't seem to have been done. I mean, there's a lot of talk about one particular app, TikTok, which has Chinese links being used to spy on people, and yet there are many other problems. For example, Apple, which has the iPhone, has a special relationship with China.
Yes,
so
the chips
very easily allow people in.
Oh yes,
allow people into your home. I mean, if I had an iPhone with me now, they could be listening to me. I don't. I have an Android, but they no doubt those can be used as well. I say no doubt because I'm pretty much convinced that similar arrangements are in place there. And so, I think espionage is going on. And I think in terms of international relations, it's just assumed that it's going on. Spy on each other. As President Ronald Reagan pointed out in a press conference with Gorbachev about seeing whether the Soviet Union was getting rid of its nuclear weapons at the rate they were saying they were doing. He said he would trust them, but he put it like this: trust and verify. And I think you want to do that. And Gorbachev smiled at this. You want to say, well, we trust insofar as we're friends with you as a country, but we're also going to be spying on you to verify that you actually are friendly. And that's just assumed. But when it comes to individuals, when it comes to foreign powers getting into your private life, I think we do need to be concerned, but not just about the foreign powers. What about our own government? We don't really want them knowing exactly what we're doing either. And that causes me to think maybe we all need to have a change in lifestyle. Maybe the smartphone needs to go in the bin.
No. You see, this is where it gets interesting, isn't it? Because it's so embedded, isn't it, into our daily lives.
Becomes so,
You know, we use technology. And it's interesting that coders, our listeners are coders as well, folks, yes, and developers who are producing the software and the hardware. It's true, and they will know that you can have sort of backdoor sections to applications that you can bypass security measures. Now, we've seen this with other applications as well. WhatsApp has seen many, many hacking incidents. And it's interesting as well that, ironically, many nations and regions are very, very proud of the fact that they put legislation in place to try and protect the consumer on data protection. And yet, ironically, as we've just been talking, many nations spy on nations, not just government, but spy on the consumer. So the products that we are buying innocently could actually be giving access to many people who perhaps you would rather not know what type of things that you're looking at or playing on or doing in your business. And yet it does happen. So is there a way of stopping it? Now, I don't think there is. I think we're just simply going to have to accept that all good faith, yes, is there such a thing anymore? I don't know, Claire and Pete. But is there a realm where we can say that the consumer isn't going to be impacted too much, but maybe governments need to think a little bit more differently?
Well, yes, I think they do. But I think knowing the way things operate gives you actually strength. Let's go back to the mobile phone situation. If you know or assume that people are listening to you on your mobile phone, you could say things into it.
Would you buy a Huawei phone? I mean, that's one of the things that was brought up recently.
And you can be just savvy to it and understand it. And I think the knowledge of it can give you strength. But I don't think that the power is all on one side. That's what I'm saying. I mean, because if you just think about it, even with the greatest technology in the world, you still end up with so much boring, unnecessary information. For example, listening to your phone calls, Mark, they were fine. You know, so it's so boring that they wouldn't want to listen anymore. But just summarising, bringing this all together.
It's just my way of attack. That's all.
Oh, right. That's your way of putting them off. Yeah. Well, I think that espionage is a way of life and has to be because of trust and verify, the principle that Ronald Reagan outlined. You need to be able to check that your friends are actually being your friends in international concerns. And I think that if you assume that that's the case, then it stops there being bad feeling. But when it becomes obvious, like you float a balloon over the place, I think you need to apologize. I think that's what China should do. Say, whoops.
Well, should we be really worried, though, as consumers, to close out at this point? I mean, whilst the powers that be, governments and powerful companies may want to know a bit about what you're doing in the vestry or wherever else, but what happens, should we be living life in blissful ignorance, or what would happen if, say, for example, the consumer really knew what the governments were doing? Would that worry us? Should we be concerned?
Interesting, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it'd be interesting if it worked both ways. Maybe.
What would you like to know to our listeners? Let's open it up.
Gentle listener, what would you like? Who would you like to listen in on in government? Well, any government. Pick a government, pick a name, let us know. And any other thoughts you have, just go to markandpete.com. Make sure you're subscribed, and you can just comment on this and any other episode. So that's it from all of us here in Mark and Pete's Towers here in the studio here. And that includes, of course, all the spies listening in. Bye for now. Catch you next time.